Hey, Emmy, you know where you're going to college next year?
Probably somewhere local if I can afford it.
Good morning, class.
Science, technology, engineering, and math. Students unite. We love education, create and solve. That's our obligation. Science, technology, engineering, and math. Science, technology, engineering, and math.
Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to ACP's Automation Adventure podcast, as well as day 4 to the innovation. Give me 1 second. I'm going to start that again.
BAS stands for Building Automation Systems.
I see. The playlist will continue if I don't get out of YouTube. Okay, here we go again. Welcome, welcome everyone to ACP's Automation Adventure podcast and day 4 of the Innovation in the Energy Workforce webinar series. My name is Candace Haynes. I'm your host, as well as the Outreach Director for the Association of Controls Professionals. Today, we're going to be presenting a very unique and engaging style to showcase one of our main outreach engagement activities, podcasting. Some of our other engagement tools, you guys saw some of the activities in the previous video. And those were a part of our Step and STEM mobile lab tour video, where we speak to the work that we do here at ACP, which is we hook, engage, and equip students with the necessary tools and resources that they will need to be successful in their specific STEM career pathway of choice. Before we jump into discussing strategies for effective outreach and new career pathways, I'd like to introduce our 2 special guests. We have Brian Lovell, the president of ACP, and we have Dr. Tavares Hostin, who is the president of Georgia Piedmont Technical College. How are y'all doing today?
Doing absolutely wonderful. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely.
Likewise, Candace, it's a pleasure to be here with all of you today.
Wonderful. Well, let's just jump on in. In response to the need for better training and definition of skills standards in the building automation systems industry, Brian Lovell co-founded the Association of Controls Professionals in 2014. And as I mentioned, he's also the current president of ACP. Brian Lovell has been working in the building automation systems field for over 25 years in every role, from technician to BAS contracting firm business owner in the Atlanta area. Experiencing the need for more trained BAS technicians firsthand, he led the development of the nation's first BAS associate's degree of applied sciences at Georgia Piedmont Technical College, which also became the model program for many other institutions across the United States. Brian Lovell has disseminated the program to several colleges around the country through his ongoing work with the National Science Foundation, Department of Energy, and others. In 2019, ACP partnered with the Siemens Foundation, and we launched the Step and STEM project that stands for Automation Skills, Training, Education, and Promotion in STEM. This project was also launched at GPTC in DeKalb, Georgia. And Dr. Holston, I know you remember that moment when we came with the box truck and we had the entire bottom layer of your parking deck just decked out with our presentation, which we'll get into in just a moment. And Dr. Holston has played an integral part in the launch and success of the Step and STEM project. Dr. Tavares Hostin, currently the president of GPTC, has been an educator and advocate for technical education for over 20 years. The Technical College System of Georgia named Dr. Holston to lead the college in September 2018. He is passionate about student success and workforce development. His love for higher education and student learning began as an adjunct instructor teaching business concepts and software application packages. Since that time, he has served in various executive roles at 3 colleges, including positions such as campus dean, director of online instruction, vice president for institutional effectiveness, vice president for academic affairs, and vice president for adult education. Dr. Holston holds a doctorate in education from Valdosta State University, a master's of science and management with a focus in leadership and organizational effectiveness from Troy University, and a bachelor of business administration and management from the University of North Georgia. He is also a U.S. Army veteran. So, as we've heard, both Brian Lovell and Dr. Tavares Holston understand the importance of outreach and informing the youth of the many high-tech, stable career options open to them that can prepare them for the needs of the 21st century workforce. So let's begin these questions. Dr. Holston, in the spring of 2019, again, when we came and presented our Step and STEM project to the world for the first time, why did you feel it was important to be creative when engaging with young minds?
Well, Candace, thank you for that question. I remember that day very well and vividly. Such energy and enthusiasm around STEM and the programs and opportunities that are available for students. And I can tell you, making sure that we engage young people at a level for where they are, because there's so much going on that's vying for their attention. And we want to make sure that we communicate those amazing career opportunities that are out there for them in the midst of all of this noise. So, this is just such a great opportunity to engage students and say, here's some pathways that you might want to consider. And specifically, our building automation systems pathway is an excellent pathway for that. So I'm so excited about this opportunity and all the work that's coming out of it.
Absolutely. Yes, it's a very exciting. I cannot wait for us to be able to get back to doing the in-person elements and activities, because that energy in that space with the students as well as the STEM champions, I mean, you again are one of our witnesses to the magic, if you will, that happens inside these students. So we cannot wait for that moment. So Brian, as the CEO and leader of ACP, why did you choose GPTC as a premier partnering institution at which to launch the Step and STEM project?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Candace. It's a good one. I've lived ever since college in Atlanta, so 32 years now, excuse me. I've lived in DeKalb County or around DeKalb County, and I've known of formerly DeKalb Tech, currently Georgia Piedmont Technical College for most of that time. I went to Georgia Piedmont Technical College for some technical training back in the very early 1990s. So I saw the value from that side. And through the years, as we developed the nation's first automation program, as you mentioned earlier, I saw the centrality of importance of Georgia Piedmont Technical College to the broader community. So what better place than right here in DeKalb County at an institution that has a long history of training folks and putting them into careers at a very high percentage to launch this national program. And under Dr. Holston's leadership, I knew we had a great advocate and enthusiastic leader who could take this program forward, and that's certainly what he's done. So we appreciate the partnership with GPTC.
Very much so. And so we speak about this program, and Brian, I'm looking where you are now. I see some controls in the background. And if I were a student watching this video now, I would want to just jump into the screen and just be a part of what you have going on over there. And so tell us a little bit about what's behind you.
Oh, so this is part of the automated box truck, which was in the video at the outset. We have 3 of these units, and we'll take them out to high schools around DeKalb County, really around the country, and roll them into the box truck and then roll them out of the box truck after one of the Step and STEM performances. And you see the tagline behind me, Step and STEM. So after the students are ready and excited and ready to receive the training or receive a message, that's when we roll out the equipment. and they're excited, they're ready to engage. They probably heard of controls for the first time after your show. They certainly are in the mindset of STEM. And then we immerse them into the world of STEM in automation, which is the central nervous system of a lot of different STEM career fields, because it's really much in the Internet of Things, as you've heard that term recently. This is that field. So yes, it's an exciting way to push a message to young people when we do this.
Absolutely. And I know, Brian, our team, our ACP team, we've had to adjust our outreach strategy from doing all of this in-person exciting things, which we will get back to, and hopefully cross his fingers that's happening sooner than later. And so, Dr. Holston, I'm curious to know what's been happening at GPTC. How has the COVID situation impacted outreach activities at GPTC?
It has indeed, Candace, had a great impact on operations. But the good news is we're still teaching, we're still learning, we're still doing all the great things that happen out of college. But what that means is, you talked about getting back to an in-person format. In the meantime, we're going to continue in a virtual format where we engage our students, whether that be through recruiting and marketing efforts in a virtual format, much like this one. So that's been the largest takeaway. And one of the things that comes to mind when I think about the partnership with ACP and a step in STEM in this entire program is even throughout this, our staff has been engaged with our community, with our students, like our dual enrollment coordinators have done presentations to foster kids and those who are in the division of BFACs in a recent workshop, just talking about the great work that's happening here in the learning opportunities. And we look forward to partnering with ACP and others and making sure that we're putting STEM opportunities and careers out in the forefront, because this is a growing and very high demand career field. And so we're just really looking forward to how we can partner and help students make those connections. And, as I said, there's so much opportunity there for those students. And we're going to continue to partner with ACP to provide workshops such as these and others moving forward.
Absolutely. And we were so excited to have the director and the assistant director of the high school initiatives from GPTC to join us on what we like to call our Step in STEM pep rally, if you will. It's sort of just the precursor to all of the excitement when we bring out the DJ and we bring out the performance. This was sort of an opportunity, a more intimate space, as Dr. Holston mentioned, for representatives of GPTC, these departments that really help these students transition from high school into these associate's degree program. I mean, it was exciting, and we're looking forward to continuing that process with foster kids, with underserved communities, and with students just in general in the DeKalb County and in Georgia and across the nation. And so, Brian, take that back. The next question is for Dr. Holston. So, Dr. Holston, continuing on, coming out of the COVID crisis, hopefully, how will the lessons learned with digital outreach be paired with creative engagement strategies like the A Step in STEM to form an even more effective strategy?
Well, what a part of that strategy is, of course, Candace, is connecting students with resources. And we know that our economy has been strained, just our entire, all the infrastructure around this has been strained. So connecting students with funding opportunities to make sure that they have access has been one of those hidden blessings, if you will, if you can find such a thing, and even hard times, but connecting students with those resources. And we do plan to continue to leverage technology to make sure that students can learn in a way that's meaningful, that's impactful, and that kind of sticks with them. And that's one of the things that I often talk about here at the college, is making sure that the learning experiences here are unforgettable. And so one of those things that will make our environment more unforgettable is we're in the process of investing hundreds of thousands of dollars in our campuses to do things like make a living lab, where when our students come through our campus, they can see right into our classrooms, they can see the systems that our students and the faculty are teaching on that might spark a bit of interest to learn a little bit more about what this is about, so they can see that real-time information happening at at the same time as they're walking through or watching what's happening in the classroom. We're also investing in a mobile trailer, a technologies trailer that houses things like solar panels and HVAC systems, those types of things, so that we can stream and really connect learning in a digital space that is impactful for those students. And so we'll be doing this and other own and timely outreach activities through virtual means. Because what it really comes down to, Candace, is regardless of what this looks like on the other end, we all know that technology is moving forward. It is here to stay. And so we're going to continue to invest in those modern, cutting edge, bleeding edge technology, so that when students encounter our classrooms, they feel like they're, in a way, stepping into the future.
I like that, stepping into the future. Ooh, that gave me chills. And hopefully the students get excited like I'm getting excited. And Brian, before we conclude, I would love for you to add to Dr. Holston's discussion about these living laboratories. What would that experience look like for the students? As you mentioned, they'll be able to look in, but give us a little bit more information about that as well.
Oh, I could talk all day about that, because as an educator, both adjunct and full-time for the span of 15 or 20 years, I know that what Dr. Holston said is exactly right. You have to excite the students first, get their attention before you can teach them. And so when you have a living laboratory environment, and it cues their interest, immediately you have an open mind that can receive learning, or that can be influenced to perhaps different career pathways. So I think that the living laboratory model is one. Dr. Holston's right on it. It should be used pervasively through the country, not just for those who are walking through or being exposed, but even inside the classroom through project-based learning, which I know GPTC does a lot of, and other colleges are trying to do more of. That immersive type of exciting learning is critical to engaging, retaining, and then teaching effectively students, young people, whoever comes through the door. So I couldn't agree more. I think it's right spot on. And what you do, Candace, with A Step in STEM literally is a mobile living laboratory tour that engages folks and gets them interested. So kudos to all the work that you're doing. It's really amazing stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you to you both. This has been a wonderful discussion. Just sort of touching lightly on some of these strategies, because here with ACP partnering with GPTC and other institutions across the nation, we've implemented quite a few strategies that we know the youth and these particular audiences of students that we're really wanting to recruit and retain into these programs, some of which just for me to sort of briefly list some additional ones. As we mentioned, the Step and Sim mobile lab. Right now, you all are a part of, you didn't realize it, but you are also a special guest of our ACP Automation Adventure podcast. And also these workshops and webinars where we go in and we go discuss these resources and tools that students are able to use by way of their STEM champions, which could be a teacher or a Dr. Holston, or it could be even the band instructor, someone who's just on fire for STEM. We equip them with the resources that they need in order to go and really bring these students into sort of this engagement space to really lead them into their career pathway. Also, virtual lab tours. That is huge. We're going to definitely release all of these videos, including our podcast. If you guys follow us on our YouTube, just look up Association of Controls Professionals. You all will be able to take this journey with us as we're going across the nation and really getting the stories of these successful students and really encouraging students to continue to really choose a STEM career pathway, because STEM is the future. So I'm going to wrap it up and say thank you guys again for joining Dr. Holston, Brian Lovell. I know, Dr. Holston, you have to leave now, but I know Brian and I will stay on if everyone wants to go ahead and add some questions or comments in the chat box. Dr. Holston, thank you so much, and we will definitely be talking soon.
Thank you so much, Candace and Brian. The pleasure has been all mine.
Wonderful. All right, we're going to get to the chat now.